Hey, man. I'm freaking tired. I worked today.
Yeah, that'll do.
Also high.
Also high. Is that the intro?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
All
Yeah,
right, I'll
make
take
it that.
I'll take it.
I'm really sleepy right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired as well. My work is already like a pretty fast business, but like on Sundays are only open for 5 hours, and we basically do the business that we do on a normal 11-hour day in 5 hours. And that's what Sundays are like. So I'm pretty beat. Anyway, how is everybody else doing this evening? We're recording later than what we usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason for that is I work in the early mornings now. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning on most days, and when I get home, I take a few hour nap. So we can't do earlier in the day anymore. I'm very sorry.
Andrew, you're
Hey,
just
that
ruining
means
our
the rest
lives.
of us get to sleep in.
Yeah.
I don't like sleeping in that much.
I don't either.
Like sleeping in is like 9 o'clock at this point. Which
Yeah,
same
here.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah,
Yeah. When I get up at 9 on the weekends, I'm like, I'm a degenerate.
I know. Seriously.
I woke up at 9:30 like sometime last week, and I was like, "Whoa, ho, ho, wow, man! Ooh, look at you!"
Pushing the envelope. Need to be
I'm
careful.
I'm usually up by anywhere between 7 to 8 at the latest, most days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my schedule. But man, I hate those early mornings and whatever. So yeah, my condolences, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I think that's one of my new superpowers is that I can wake up at pretty much any time of day.
at will. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll wake up at 6 p.m. today.
Yeah. Yeah, I get like a spike of adrenaline, and I'm pretty cognizant for pretty much the whole morning. I crash hard at the end of the shift, but yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. I just can do that. It's just something I'm born with.
He's born this way.
I was born this way. I'm an anytime riser.
Freak of nature.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I'm just
Anyway, who
always
played
tired, so. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, who played video games? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna let Ben go. I have to think. Yeah, look, I usually like to do like brand new stuff very first, but I want to hear Ben talk about his Demon Souls experience on the PlayStation
5.
Cinco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. I've for the last little while I've played that and Rift Apart, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and of course the game that we're going to be talking about later. But yeah, to start off with Demon Souls, I was playing that today. I heard a lot of things about it. People were saying that it was like, oh, it's the easiest Souls game and stuff. And I'm struggling harder than some other Souls games in the beginning. It's really given it to me. Cause the first thing that I like noticed right off the bat is that the knight set that you start off with, you can't even quick roll with it, like as the starting class. So that just makes things a whole lot harder. So you have to go like through the first bit of the game like half naked if you really want to roll. Trying to figure out like the weapon attack like damage types and stuff like that. I upgraded my long sword and then upgraded like the bastard sword because it did a lot of damage, only to realize in the very next archstone enemies are only weak to piercing damage. And my bastard sword was doing nothing to them. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Are you
I've
saying
been having a
master sword?
time with that. Yeah, bastard sword.
Bastard.
It's
Like the B
Yes.
word. Okay. I thought you were saying
Yes.
master sword like Zelda.
No, bastard sword. That's an actual like sword.
potato.
Yeah, masters and bastards. Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar indeed. But yeah, it's tough. I've tried every archstone so far, the first levels. I think I got all the way to like the big fog door at the end of the first area. But I have yet to beat the second boss of the second area and any of the bosses in the other areas. So yeah, I was doing the tower. The tower was freaking insane, dude. Because those there's these weird like Cthulhu like jail wardens that run around, and they have a grab attack that could one shot me, and I had to, for some reason it took me a really long time to figure out like the strategy to run away from the grab attack when it's literally just dodge roll through it, but I don't know.
I really don't like the prison area myself, so
dude, it's rough.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree, because I said so on the podcast as well when I was talking about my experience with Demon Souls, and that just my early game experience was really rough, but yeah, stick with it. I'm sure you would really like it.
I'm sure I will,
because it gets easier the more you go through, honestly. The more it's I don't want to say grinding, but I guess grinding that you do. It definitely eases up. It does certainly become one of the easier Souls experiences, but that initial little hurdle is not fun.
I mean, it's been fun to like see all the new stuff and see like all the new environments and enemies, and like just like taking in all the graphics and stuff like that, and just the it's really like interesting just getting into a new Souls game that I haven't experienced yet. Yeah, because after playing through Dark Souls 1, I'm always trying to find that spark again, just trying a Souls game for the first time and like discovering everything, and everything's like new and fresh and unknown, and you're walking around every corner with your shield out type thing. Yeah, it's been fun, but also frustrating, considering that like sometimes like just based on how like enemy AI behaves, like they'll pull some random run that I'm like trying to run back to get my souls, and then some enemy will pull something that they haven't done before and like just like wreck me, and then I'm just like and I lose all my souls, and I have to go grind again, and then yeah, so it's frustrating right now, but I'm getting there. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, persistence is certainly the key. That's certainly how it is with any Souls game, and no different here.
Environments are dope though. I love the way everything looks. The mine level looks really cool. Like all like the desert cliffs and everything, and with just like the modern graphics, those like rocky levels look especially nice. So yeah.
Yeah, they both certainly do. Certainly a looker, but that's launch title syndrome as well. It's got they front load a lot of the fancy effects and so forth for.
It's got a lot of flash.
Yeah, the prettiness sake. You said you've also been working on some Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah. I've reached the point where I'm putting it away for now, because I've 100%ed it. I've upgraded every weapon. I've played through the campaign 3 times.
Dear God.
Yeah, so I've done pretty much everything there is to do in the game, and I had a blast doing it. The gameplay in this Ratchet and Clank is probably the strongest in any of them. It's a whole lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, like the stories, it's a story. It's not great, but it's also not terrible. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I remember you saying that your big critique with the 2016 kind of reboot Ratchet and Clank was that you didn't really like Ratchet and Clank, specifically Ratchet's characterization, right? That he seems sanded down, right? And you didn't.
Well,
you didn't particularly enjoy that.
It's because Ratchet gets sanded down throughout the series, even in the first 4 PS2 games, because he grows and learns and stuff. And he matures.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because everybody's like, "Oh, I miss when these games were so crass and vulgar," and stuff
They're
like
like,
that.
which one-
And it's like,
they're
I think
like,
you're remembering it a little wrong, because Ratchet was only particularly mean or selfish in the very first game. And that was his arc throughout that game, right?
Yeah,
So, I don't know. It seems like kind of a double standard that people are holding this new game to.
Yeah, people are like, man, I'm sad that Ratchet's not an asshole anymore.
Like, he was only that way in the first game.
I mean, like, he still has like he takes action quickly, and he's like really into like gadgets and stuff like that. Of course, I mean, he's still got that about him because that's kind of like his core personality. But he's obviously not an asshole anymore. He's more mature about how he approaches things. So it makes sense that he is the way that he is. But the reason I hated the 2016 game so much is because it's like they tried to completely redo the character. So like nothing about 2016 Ratchet was anything similar to even like Crack in Time Ratchet.
So if
Or Into the
2016 wasn't a remake and was basically just a completely original game with like the exact same gameplay mechanics and story and stuff, you wouldn't have a problem with that?
If it was its own standalone game, I mean, yeah, it'd be fine, I guess. And if that was also my introduction to Ratchet and Clank, I would also probably be fine with it. But just coming from the old games and just coming from the PS3 titles as well, and just seeing how they've changed and evolved over time, it seems like just 2016 it felt like a cash grab. It really did. At least the gameplay was good. Minus the whole motion blur 30 FPS thing was kind of annoying to deal with, but yeah, I mean, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart I think is great. They did a fantastic job. I liked all the characters, and like I said, it's not the greatest story in the world, but I mean, it's fun. It's an animated. It's like a your standard animated sci-fi movie. It's okay.
I will say that it seems like a good jumping off point. Like a sequel to this game could potentially be very interesting story wise. I doubt it. I doubt they'll put that much effort into the story, but it could be interesting. Like there are ways it could go that would be interesting.
I did think the climax was really well done. Like in terms of like the final level where you're like where they just drop you into the battle for like the city and stuff like that. Oh, I don't want to spoil too much.
There's a big battle at the end, of course.
Well, if Ethan hasn't played it yet, because I don't want to talk like specific details.
Of course, I haven't played it yet. I haven't. Again, as I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm refusing, and I'm going to refuse as long as I can to pay $70 for a goddamn AAA video game. So
that's fair, yeah. But since I'm done with it, like I was wanting to hand it off to you to play it. But yeah, so I'm not going to spoil like any specific. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil any specific details, but just like any game, there's a big battle at the end, and I think it's really well done.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of fun. So,
speaking of Ratchet and Clank, I have kind of a wild card up my sleeve right now. I kind of want to go into. A couple weeks ago, I was hanging out with Ben, and I tried the PS5 for the first time. I tried Astro's Playroom, which is a lot of fun, and I also tried Rift Apart for a while. And while I was playing Rift Apart, I was like, this is a lot of fun. I wish I feel bad about like where I left the Ratchet and Clank franchise. So I was talking to Ben, and I think offhandedly I was like, I'll try up the third game. I'll just skip the second one like I did with the first one. I'll just jump straight into the third one. And I kept this a secret from you guys. I ended up playing Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal, and I'm very pleased to report that game fucking rules. It's so much fun. I beat it in just a few days.
Nice.
Yeah, it's insane. I know that you like the second one more, Ben, but I gotta side with most of the fan base on this one. The third game just feels so much more polished. It's by the end of the game, really? I had every gun. All of them were fully upgraded. I had the full amount of health, and it all felt perfectly natural. I never felt like I had to grind. It was just nothing but like the pure gameplay loop of going from like planet to planet. If I wanted more bolts, I would go to that like deathmatch like arena world, and those were legitimately fun. So I didn't feel like I was grinding at all. It just felt purely all a part of the game. I never felt like I had to do something I didn't want to do, you know. And yeah, it was and I remember your criticism of that game specifically being like some of the final worlds weren't quite as I don't know, as well designed or as invigorating as some of the other worlds. But I don't know, I didn't really feel that way. It felt it didn't feel too far off from what the other games provided. And I also agree with the fan base that like Dr. Nefarious, and like this is his introduction, and his butler assistant. I thought they were awesome. They were super funny. I loved their introductory sequence where Dr. Nefarious is like, what would you say? He's like giving his proclamation to the universe about how he's going to take it over, and in the corner of the screen, his butler is doing sign language for. For I guess the deaf people, which that was great.
Yeah, I do have to say, like Dr. Nefarious, as much as he like has been reused throughout the series, he is probably my favorite Ratchet and Clank villain.
Yeah, I thought he was easily the best one. The game was legit really funny. There was one point where Clank just evil Clank, spoilers I guess, was. Captain Cork was talking about like how great he was, and Clank was just straight up like, "Well, that's bullshit." And then, like it gets cut off. Like that was great.
Yeah,
yeah.
I do have to say, like my experience with Up Your Arsenal is that like character-wise, writing-wise, and mechanics-wise, yeah, it's very good. It's just that like I guess like environmentally, it wasn't nearly as interesting as some of the other ones to me personally. But yeah, it's definitely got some of the best like writing of all of the PS2 games.
I won't argue with you on that, man. I respectfully disagree, but I don't know. It felt very engaging to me from beginning to end, and honestly, I was even somewhat wanting to go into like the challenge mode and
I'd
play
recommend
through
it,
the game
honestly.
again. Yeah. It was just I was not expecting that. It was just so enthralling, really. Like I was just captivated for like the whole like 12-hour experience, which is not something I was ever expecting from this franchise. I was expecting I would kind of passively like it or something, but no, this ranks pretty highly for me on 3D platformers. I actually took the liberty of writing down like every 3D platformer I played and ranking them. Would you guys like to hear it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So I wrote down 19 of them that I've at least finished. Like I've beaten the final boss. The last three are pretty interchangeable. I got the original Spyro the Dragon, Crash 2, and Ratchet and Clank, the original. Which I got to the final boss, so I basically did beat it. Those three are kind of interchangeable. Yeah, they all had their janky moments, but they're fine. They're not too bad. Then going up from 16, you got. So I'm going to go from 16 up. Crash 3, Pac-Man World 2, Crash Bandicoot 4, A Hat in Time, Spyro Ripto's Rage, Super Mario 3D World. I put Sunset Overdrive. I guess that counts. I mean, you're jumping. I'm going to say that counts.
Yeah, it's technically a 3D platformer.
Yeah. Number 9, you got Super Mario Sunshine, Spyro Year of the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal at a respectable number 7. Super Mario 3D Land, Jak and Daxter, which is my highest non-Mario 3D platformer. And then my top 4 is Super Mario 64, the 2 Mario Galaxy games, and Mario Odyssey.
Nice.
So yeah, that means Up Your Arsenal would be my second favorite non-Mario 3D platformer, which is crazy. Yeah.
Damn, that really had an impact on you. Then that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to go into the other ones. I started playing the first of the Future trilogy, Tools of Destruction, a little bit.
I will say it is, out of like Tools, Crack in Time, and Nexus, I'd say Tools is probably the weakest one. But I'll have to see what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like the original trilogy, it'll probably get better as it goes. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also like the game itself has like some glitchy stuff. Like cinematics will like
Yeah, I've already
go out of
noticed
sync
that.
with their audio.
Yeah, exactly what happened to me.
Yeah,
So,
I was
not just
I
me.
had to deal with that. I had to deal with that the whole time through I was playing. I was like, this is kind of annoying, but it gets fixed in cracking time. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to say I'm a bigger fan of Ratchet and Clank than I was before. At the very least, I don't know if another game will surpass Up Your Arsenal for me. Like, I want to beat Rift Apart at some point, and like get to Kraken Time, and we'll see how I rank them.
Kraken Time's a great one in my opinion. They did a great job. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So, I guess I'll interject with a game. I've been playing a new game, at least relatively new. I'm still within the kind of like earliest bits of it. I've only finished the first level. It's tough as nails though. Wonderful little game called Cruelty Squad.
Cool.
This has been a kind of a phenomenon online recently. A lot of old school shooter people have been flocking to it. The New Blood development team, the people who developed and published games like Dusk, a medieval, like real significant first-person shooter games. Like they're screaming all about it. They love it. And it's getting like a lot of traffic, on YouTube and press outlets and so forth. It really is just blown up. And it's I'll explain what it is. It is a first-person shooter that I don't know. It looks like a combination between like I guess LSD Dream Emulator kind of visuals, but you put that through a Windows 95 hell and make it a tactical shooter a la classic Rainbow Six, and you've made Cruelty Squad. Wow. It's definitely a tactical shooter. It is a tough game. You die in like 1 to 2 hits. Your enemies are like quick to detect you, but it's rough, and it also like the levels are also huge. You can get lost to them very easily, but I don't know. It's just an extraordinarily fun game. Something that I guess don't really see all too often. And it's got a really like amazing like set of mechanics and story and kind of like fleshing things out through gameplay. It's a wonderful experience, and it's also a bit of a let's laugh at the capitalism kind of game too. While we're at it, there's a whole like stock market that you can trade on while you're playing the game. So like you could run through and like assassinate your targets and just sit in the corner and then like just play stocks. It's freaking stupid. You can even manipulate the market too, of course. Like you're a the story is like you're a contracted hitman. You're like the Uber driver of hitmen, and so you're just kind of a contract killer, just running into places and just eliminating the targets that you're being asked to do for a measly payout. But if you invest your funds right, you can basically become Jeff Bezos of psycho murderers. And I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds like my kind of thing. And it is. I'm greatly enjoying it. I would seriously not recommend it to any of you. Do not play this game. Andrew and Ben and Elias, I guess all of you are all just sitting there like you'd look up this game, you'd be like, yeah, of course, I would never play something like this. And that's more than okay, but it's my kind of thing, and it's gotten a real big cult following recently. I've also seen some gatekeeping about it. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, It's fun. I guess we can't really discuss a game like this. No one knows what it is. So
You said it's new?
yeah, it's relatively new. It hit early access earlier this year, and then it got a full 1.0 release on the 15th of June.
Oh, okay. And is that what your current is that what like your current profile picture is kind of is?
Oh, yeah, there's this fantastic mechanic in the game. There's a border in the game, and the border will kind of tell you what sort of state that you were in, and the game changes in certain ways depending on your border, and your border degrades the more you die. And the more you die, like, you start accumulating a debt, but you get to a point where the game says, man, you keep dying, like, all the time. Like, kinda sucks to be you. We'll just wipe the debt that you have, and then you can basically resurrect yourself without having to, like, use our machines and everything. Like, you don't have to pay for it, but it's, like, really painful. And then my Discord picture is that little gremlin guy. It's traversing the realms of death. It's pretty nuts. Also pretty on the nose. It's pretty obvious that it'd say, my capitalism. The ethics of our current socioeconomic system, yet presented through anti-vaporwave kinda like crazy bullshit, and it's a tactical shooter too.
Yeah, looking at the Steam page right now, and this looks like an acid trip of a game.
Oh yeah, no, it's batshit insane. Again, it is certainly not for everybody. It's not for most people, but it has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. So, they're doing something right, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah, real dang good game. People have been calling it an immersive sim as well. I really wouldn't say that. I guess kind of. I guess like if it's kind of similar to Deus Ex in some ways, but I'd say it's more of a Rainbow Six clone than anything else. It's Rainbow Six with a fishing minigame and a stock market. There is a fishing minigame in here as well. You can catch fish and sell them on the market.
Yeah, looking at the video also, right here. You catch a fish, it's like glory and terror.
Oh yes, yeah. You can also get to a point where you get like so deranged in Destroyed. You've died so many times, like they just kind of let you eat people to gain 1 point of health as a pity. But you can also harvest the organs of the bodies that you eat and sell those organs on the market. So, hey man, that's how I've been paying for my genetic mutation. It's just that I've been killing people, eating them, and selling their remaining organs online.
I
love this game.
It's great. Game mechanic.
It's great. It's so good. It's great. It's a weird piece of art, and I love it for that. It certainly has its problems though, but I'll find out more about the game, and because this is more of a first impression. I've only finished the first level. The game's that hard. I've put nearly 3 hours into it at this point, and I've made like some progress of the second level. The thing is, you have to do the entire like level in one go, and there's no quick saves, anything like that. But your progress continuously saves, so even if you die like midway through, but you grabbed a bunch of organs, like you actually still get to keep the organs, I think. So, they throw you a bone in some places, so you can try and just accumulate as much cash as you can, become the true capitalist antichrist, and just kill everybody and make money. But yeah, that's Cruelty Squad, one of the games I've been playing this week. I'll save more games that I've been playing until I hear from Elias, because Elias hasn't said anything yet. You've been so quiet. How you doing?
I have no opinion on Ratchet and Clank, and then I just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played much, honestly. I'm playing right now, just Toho, just the phone game. Besides that, been drifting as usual. Big news, I uninstalled Rocket League. I reinstalled it today just because I wanted to test something out to see if there was another reason as to my issues I was having. But no, the game's just broken. It's a piece of garbage. I will never recommend that to anyone ever again. It gets worse and worse with every update. It's pissing me off. Psionics used to be good, and then Epic bought them, and it's just been downhill. Like, it started off as a meme, and it just, it's not good anymore. Which makes me sad, because I really did enjoy that game, but it's just, not good anymore. So, yeah, and community toxic, just very toxic community. That was
so I hear.
That was
just
the
awful.
that was the main reason I quit, because I made a new friend the day I quit. I made a new Rocket League friend when I was playing with Sam. And the reason we made this friend was because this other guy that he was a teammate with, just because it was a random lobby we were in, was being toxic the entire game. Like, I would miss a shot, he'd be like, "Nice shot, great pass," whatever. You just see the quick chats in the game. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was like shrugging it off because I didn't care. And the other guy was getting on this guy's case, since that guy started being toxic to the guy we were becoming friends with, and we were just starting to chat or whatever. And so then eventually the other guy joins us, and we start doing 3v3s against other people. And I kid you not, we played 10 games, lost 8 of them, and we people made fun of us in every single game that we played. All 10 games, people called us losers, faggots, a bunch of other awful words that I probably shouldn't say. Just constant toxic behavior the entire way through. And the three of us were laughing it off, having a fun time, but underneath I was getting a little irritated.
Well, yeah,
that just every
I would
single
too.
game was just people thinking they were so good, and just if you make a small mistake, they're like, "Wow, are you even trying?" And because obviously I have one of the higher ranks in the game, I have a title that says GC, which basically says you're top 1% of the world, basically, right? And so people would constantly just nitpick at me, like, "Oh, a GC wouldn't miss that. Oh my god, a GC would actually score all the time." I'm like, I'm not a pro player. We still make mistakes. I'm not, I don't know. I hate people. I hate online communities a lot. It's really hard for me to, I think because of this exact thing, it's hard for me to open up in an online community a lot of the time. So the fact that with Assetto Corsa and the drifting community, I've started to slowly be like, "Hey, does anyone want to drift?" or whatever. And I'm always just so cautious to tick anybody off, because I just don't want to hear people yelling at me, over the internet. As much as it doesn't really matter technically, it still sucks to have someone be like,
It still has an effect.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I uninstalled. Besides that, the game feels bad. I was getting a bunch of issues with my jumping, and it was just it didn't feel like I was allowed to play my game the way I used to be able to play it. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was just it was a rough
services.
week. Yeah. So I uninstalled Rocket League. I need to remember to uninstall that again, because I wanted to test something today, and I need to uninstall it. But yeah. I guess game is good. Community is just awful. I hate that so much. And then besides that, I was playing. This games I've been planning to play. I got back into Replicant for a little bit. It's not as good as Automata, but it has a lot of feel factor to it so far. And there's been a couple moments of I'm crying, and it got to a point where I was making a decision, and I actually did the same thing with Pascal, where I just put the controller down, paused the game, I walked away, I came back, I'm like, all right, we're doing the right thing, and then it was hard. Good game though, very good game. But I think that's it. There's games I want to play, but I just have been, I don't know. I've been in this limbo of creative want, but not having any desire to do creative stuff.
Oh my god, same.
And also wanting to improve up my skills in games, but also just not really wanting to play games because I want to read books and stuff. And I'm stuck in between all these things I want to do, and I just can't decide what to do.
Yeah, same.
So it's a fun time. But yeah, that's mainly my week, just phone game. That reminds me, I need to VPN over and get the Near phone mobile game that they did. I forgot what it's called, but it's only been released in Japan as of right now. So I need to go.
Yeah, I pre-registered to get it when it drops in the West.
The West, yeah.
And I'll just do that when it comes there. I'm not in a rush. I have such a huge ass backlog. It's okay. I can wait.
Oh, I forgot. There is one game that I did play. I think it was a while back. I just forgot to say it. Galgun VR.
Oh yeah, I watched you play this. Hell yeah.
Rail shooter in VR, obviously, with high school girls and panty shots, and it's great. Just a great game. I don't know how to explain this without someone just playing it or looking it up. But it's a fun game. That's been a fun, like, relaxed game. I just kind of jump on that every once in a while when I'm just like, I don't care, and just start shooting girls with love cannons. It's great.
Yes.
My God.
Anime girls and pheromones.
Oh yeah, baby. But yeah, that's mainly all I've been doing. So
I wanted to kind of add on to the online communities thing, because that was a similar reason why I stopped playing Rainbow Six Siege. But I mean, everyone's known about Rainbow Six Siege for a while.
Any shooter game, just
yeah. But I mean, like for a while I was like putting it, like in the back of my mind, like just forget about it. They're just toxic people or whatever. But it got to a point where like the thing with Rainbow Six is you can like have like a very direct effect on like how other people play the game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like in Rocket League, you can demo people as well. I know that, and then you can like also just be toxic in chat. But like in Rainbow Six, you can completely like throw the game if you're just trying to be like completely toxic, and that kept on happening for a lot of games, even in because when I was playing, casual was like the more was the more toxic pool, and ranked was was the more, I guess, approachable pool of players.
That's surprising. What the heck?
It used to be that way, but then after a while, ranked was just as bad, if not worse, than casual. And where you would join a game and people would like look at you like on the roster, and then like they would just somehow, I guess, they would see something they didn't like and like immediately like call a vote to kick you. And then if no one else agreed, then they would go out of their way to make your life miserable in the game. Like they'd like team kill. They would like try to tell the other team where you were and stuff like that. And it just got so annoying to the point where I was like, this isn't even like remotely fun anymore. I'm just so yeah, I haven't played Rainbow Six in a long while.
Especially in those games with like characters specifically, because they'll be like, oh, you chose that character. Well, that doesn't work with my character that I chose, so I'm gonna go ruin your time. And it's like, dude, like, anyway.
Yeah.
I just
like, I really like playing a Sledge, and like every time I jumped in, like they're like, it looks like what a Sledge main, and then they would just try to vote kick me. I was like, why do you hate? What's wrong with Sledge?
It's like there's a character for a reason. They do a job. Let him do the job that he's designed to do. Like there's a
do you guys think that stems mostly from voice chat and just kind of the culture?
No, it's anything. It's anything, because it can be done with voice chat. With Rocket League, it's only text chat, right? Mm-hmm. But people will go out of their way to like put their controller down, start typing at you, just leave you alone in the game or whatever, right? The worst part about it, right? For me, I forgot to mention, in Rocket League, it used to be extremely toxic in the competitive scene, which made sense because people are trying to win, whatever, but like we would go down one goal and people would be like, oh, I'm gonna forfeit because you suck. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
went down a goal in the first 30 seconds. Like, what's wrong with you? It happens. Just play the dang game. If we have like 30 seconds left, fine, you can forfeit, I don't care. But like we went, whatever. But those 10 games where it was just awful toxicity was the casual scene. It was casual. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. You're supposed to like casual is supposed to be like playing for fun. Oh, you were saying
no one should care.
Yeah. The only online experiences I've had extensively are Splatoon, and they don't have any text chat or any voice chat. And I find that the result of that is just very civil. Like there were certainly trolls when I was playing. People that would single you out, or people that just wouldn't play the game and would intentionally throw it. Like that certainly happened, but very rarely.
I mean, that's the only thing you could do to show your frustration. And honestly, I think at this point, because nobody can keep their mouths shut due to the internet, I don't think people should be allowed to have. There shouldn't be voice or text chat in a game. There really shouldn't at this point. Even team-based games, because no one's going to use it for what it's supposed to be used. Like, and we have Discord and everything else at this point. It's like, why even bother? Just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I was saying, like, and then you were saying like there shouldn't be like text or voice chat, and it made me think of Dark Souls. But then I was about to say like, oh, it's a little better, but I was like, nah, it can literally be just as toxic.
It can still be just as toxic. Yeah, any interaction that you allow with people in a game, just for some reason, everyone just turns to toxicity.
Because they want to get reactions out of people and stuff. Because I remember I was playing Dark Souls 3 with our friend Sam, and we were in the area Irithyll of the Boreal Valley, and someone invaded us. And you know, there's kind of like a code to like duels and like invasions and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, they are trying to kill you, but like, you know, there's usually like a thing where it's like, you know, there's a code for how you
code of ethics.
Yeah, there's a code of ethics for how you like fight each other in the game. For the most part, I've interacted with that a lot, and I've, you know, had good experiences. But in this particular thing, this dude like came into our world. He wasn't even a red spirit, I think, because red spirits are kind of like the throwaway, like you just invade to screw people up and then leave. But like this guy was I think he was a cathedral protector or something like that, whatever that covenant's called. And he was just he would like get our attention and then like wouldn't even fight us. He would just like get our attention, attack us from a distance, and then just cower behind the enemies, and then just let the enemies like whittle away our health because we were trying to like keep them at bay while we were trying to focus on him at the same time. And then he would move in while we were trying to take care of the enemies, and then try to like mess with us. And then after a while we just stopped interacting with him because like, okay, we want him to leave because we want to like actually get through the game, because we were trying to do a run together. We weren't really trying to do PvP. And this guy eventually like he saw what we were doing, and so he just went and hid and just stayed there and did not leave, even though we weren't interacting with him. And I was like, what? How is this fun to you? You're not even playing. You're just hiding.
It's just,
and we couldn't get into. We couldn't. I think it blocks you from entering boss rooms too.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I think it just stems from a desire to want to control something. People like that tend to just not have a lot of control over their lives, I feel like. So they kind of take that out on like the games that they play, right? So being in an online game, it gives you power over others, even if it's minute, and people just
latch onto it.
Yeah. It probably gives them a lot of dopamine release. So yeah, so there will always be people like that. Unfortunately,
just feel sad for people like that, man. It's just saddening to think that that's how someone lives their life. But whatever. Sorry to make the whole conversation go like sad boy. I didn't mean to.
I think it's a good topic to talk about, because toxicity is such like gaming toxicity is such like a big thing these days, because everyone's playing multiplayer games, and that's always an issue. And it's always like it affects whether or not people are enjoying a game, because games are supposed to be fun. But like lately, it's like people go on games and they get their fun in making and like ruining other people's fun. And it's like, well, then what's the point then?
Yeah, same reason like bullying exists and stuff like that.
Yeah,
people just always want, people always just want some sort of dominance over other people. It's just very human. They want to be that way.
It's just disgusting.
Unfortunately,
I hate that.
It sucks.
I think that's why I've been moving more and more towards just single player, like long story based games, because they don't involve anybody else.
Same.
I get to read a cool, fun story, and it's like, wow, this is fun.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I've been kind of like single
Elias.
player. Yeah, I've been single player only for a while, like ever since I just kind of dropped Rainbow Six. I've just been like, you know what? Multiplayer games aren't that fun.
Yeah, I think Rocket League was my last like solace in multiplayer. Besides, I guess
Online multiplayer anyway. Local multiplayer is still pretty fun.
Yeah, with friends. Like multiplayer with friends is good. That's the only thing left at this point.
Yeah, multiplayer with friends is always a blast, but
Yeah.
online multiplayer it has lost its charm for me,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks.
yeah.
But you know,
Whatever.
yeah.
Probably should have saved this
Such
for like
as
its
it
own
be.
separate discussion, but yeah, we can continue on now. Back to games.
Oh, all good.
Any topic that turns into a discussion is good.
Andrew, did you play anything else this
Nah,
past
mostly
little
just Ratchet and Clank, which is weird to say. Yeah, I
Based.
know. I did kind of want to. I didn't get to be here for Nier Automata. I kind of wanted to bring
Oh
up
yeah.
just my general thoughts on the game, I guess. I did briefly discuss with Ben and Elias when I hanged out with them a couple weeks ago. The game is good. It just kind of didn't grab me, and at least not to the point where I'd want to beat it multiple times. Like, I know it's different every time, but for me to want to commit that much time and effort into something, I feel like I would need a bit more of a grab. You know what I mean? It seems like the themes that Nier Automata is mostly tackling is things of like identity and stuff like that, and that's a valuable theme for sure. Although I will say that that's a theme that doesn't necessarily hit with me very strongly. I've always kind of been myself, so it's not something I relate to very strongly. And it's definitely not all of the themes, but it's one of the more central things. Like how all the robots are kind of basically deciding their own roles in society. A lot of them are deciding to become parents, and a lot of them have like identified as like a child and stuff like
That's
and that's
interesting. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure. But what would you guys say is like the main theme? You know, like what mainly hooked you about it?
I think Ethan put it best. How did you?
I don't remember any exact terminology I may have used.
I don't remember. It's more like a philosophy playground, if anything, because the more you play, the more you'll find out kind of what happens. But the overall theme by the end of it is more like existentialism, I think, than anything else. So, but I do like. I guess I never really thought about them looking at it as an identity. I guess that falls under the category of existentialism. But
yeah, it certainly does.
But yeah, the identity
Discovering
things,
oneself, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting about robots as a concept, is that technically they are truly made neutral, you know? There's no gender there, there's no personality there. So for a robot, it's entirely their own decision about who they want to be. And that is certainly an interesting concept, and stories that are about like robotic characters tend to be about identity. And for certain people, I think that's very valuable, and I would never want to take that away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never really been into robotics as a fictional premise. You know.
God, that sucks.
Yeah, like
so much good stuff with robots and out there.
Yeah.
So much good media.
Yeah, I draw a lot and stuff, and I tend to draw stuff I enjoy. I never draw robots, which is interesting. Maybe I should get into that. But
Just start drawing robots.
Yeah. Maybe I'll like learn to love them. I don't know.
Yeah. I would just say I hope you one day just happen to be like, yeah, I'll finish it, because there's a lot more to it once you get more into the game. That's all I'll say. Like, and if you're paying attention and really getting into each character and understanding like their wants, their needs, their desires, hopes, dreams, and once you start understanding each character a lot more in depth, and you really get into the world more, it opens up a lot and really starts interconnecting between a lot of different ideas and philosophical ideas and just things like that. So I know I would hope, you know, I'm not gonna be like you have to play it, but you know, I'd hope it catches your fancy again someday and you can finish it. You know, not do like every ending, but at least get through the main storyline. But
yeah, you never know. I can
exactly.
always feel the urge at some point. I don't know.
I know. I'm randomly getting the urge to go back into Dark Souls, and I'm not the biggest fan of Dark Souls, but hey, I have this random urge to do it, so I might go do that. So
Yeah, you told me that yesterday. I was surprised. I was like, really?
I know.
Oh, cool.
I was surprised myself. I'm like, Dark Souls 3 sounds very enticing right now. I have no idea why, but I will probably play it sometime soon.
Cool.
So, exactly.
And yeah, that's it for me in video games. So if we want to move on to the central discussion, unless you have
I don't know if
something else
Ethan
to
had
bring up,
something
Ethan.
else.
Yeah.
No, I intentionally tried to space my stuff out so more people can talk. In the meantime, I still had a few more to get through, though it's super fast.
All right.
I had one of those things over the past couple of weeks that I do where it's like I get overwhelmed about the games that I have and I just don't know what to play. I'm like, that sounds cool, but that also sounds cool. I'm technically working on this. And it's like, and I just had that thing where I'm like, ugh. So I thought, well, while I'm in the middle of this, maybe let's not start any games I'm not going to finish. Let's instead play some smaller titles, like more arcadey kind of stuff. So I actually played a decent amount of Atari 2600 games over the past couple of weeks. I have an Atari 2600 collection for Activision. Activision developed games for the 2600. So I played tennis. I played barnstorming. I played boxing. Let's see, what else did I play? I played a few others. I can't remember. What are the other 2600 games I played? Freeway. Those are the ones I played there. Then I also went on to Rare Replay. Of course, the developer Rare, whatever. On Xbox Game Pass, they have Rare Replay available, which has a good chunk. All of the Rare stuff that isn't in like weird legal hell. Looking at GoldenEye. And I played a couple of old games from there, both Saberwolf and Underworld. Just played around with them. I think they're the ZX Spectrum versions of those games. Like they're like old computer games. And I was like, all right, cool, fun to piss around in those. Then I was informed by Xbox Game Pass that because I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, I get a exclusive game that I got to download and play, and it's the Space Jam: A New Legacy video game. And guess what? It's a shitty beat 'em up. That's like my genre. So I'm like, great. Of course I'm gonna play it. And yeah, no, it's just a shitty beat 'em up. It took me 35 minutes to finish it single player.
Oh my goodness.
I got a lot of achievements out of it. And I'm like, what? This shit. I basically got it kind of for free, but what a
was it all
piece of
worth it?
shit.
No.
Not really, no, but it was only like a half an hour of my time, so
Yeah, good filler, right?
Yeah, but now I have apparently background info for when I finally watch the Space Jam movie, the new one, which I'm gonna watch at some point.
Yeah, me too.
For some reason.
I've heard
now
things
I have
about it.
So have I. I've seen things about it, and it's just.
I mean, I watched the first
terrifying.
Space Jam for the first time just a couple months ago, and that movie wasn't great. And people are saying it's like a masterpiece in comparison. So.
Oh yeah, no, the first Space Jam is shit. I don't know why there's some sort of like fondness back to it. It's
just a nostalgia factor. I think that's all.
Yeah,
it is. It's all it is because it's a shitty movie. I mean, I buy into the meme because the whole Space Jam thing was a meme for a while, and then it kind of like turned into a millennials are actually kind of fond of this for some weird reason, and now it's getting pandered to Zoomers, I think, is who they're trying to appeal to. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm not quite sure because I heard from I can't remember who said it. I watched some review of it, but someone said they had like a reference to like Austin Powers in there, and they're like,
yeah,
what kid of this generation has seen Austin Powers?
Yeah, the big controversial one is the Clockwork Orange reference.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange guys.
There's a Clockwork Orange reference?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have some of the characters from the movie.
Yeah, and everybody's like,
background shots.
they removed Pepe Le Pew because he's like, He's
the
kinda,
rape culture thing.
rape.
Yeah, you have
He's kinda
you
rapey,
have
yeah.
people who literally like commit rape in a film,
Yeah.
in a scene.
This is why I don't
and
watch
they sing
movies.
about it.
Ha!
I don't know if that's all movies, like, but
I don't know. I guess I have a monkey attention span because I can't sit there for 2 hours and watch a movie, or an hour and a half. I don't know. It depends on the movie. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Like, I can pay attention to a movie perfectly, but I have trouble maintaining focus with video games, which is interesting. Yeah, everyone's different.
So, I'll quickly finish my game selection this past week. I had one more game. So I had this point where I played enough of those arcade games, and I thought to myself, okay, all right, I should finally actually play a game. And so I did an online wheel, and I posted this.
Oh yeah.
In the chat, and I'm like, all right, here's some games on my backlog. That wheel has gotten much larger now, but I was like, oh yeah, no, these are some games I'm thinking of. I'm gonna throw it to a wheel, completely randomized. What am I playing? It landed on Killzone 3. So I played the first 2 Killzone games. I'm like, all right, PlayStation 3 is already hooked up. Let's play Killzone 3. And I finished it this morning before I went to work. And I'm just going to quickly say, gameplay-wise, I think Killzone 3 is my favorite one so far. I think it controls much better than the first 2, but a lot of the charm of the first 2 games was that it was a lot clunkier, kind of a slower-paced sort of affair. Killzone 3 is a lot faster, higher, aiming sensitivities and so forth. Visually speaking, it still looks pretty good, despite its resolution and just not very good facial models. The gameplay is not too bad for a console shooter, especially one where you're playing with the DualShock 3. It actually feels pretty fun to play. The only problem is, of course, it's a Sony exclusive game that uses the 6-axis controllers, so you got 6-axis motion control bullshit thrown in there sometimes. But it's pretty short and whatever, but still annoying when I'm just trying to lay in my bed and relax, and I have to move my hands up and twist my hands in a certain way so that, the gyro acts the way that it wants to and everything, because God forbid I just want to lay in my bed and play an FPS game. Killzone. But, nonetheless, Killzone 3, not too bad. The story, though, is just awful, terrible story. Like, way bad. And, like, the first 2 games weren't, like, great narratively speaking either, but this sucks. This may be the most fun to play, but it's certainly the worst story-wise. Which means the last Killzone game I technically have to play on console is Shadowfall, which that has now been thrown into the rotation. And we will see where the wheel spins, depending on where games go here, what I finish over the next little bit. But that's everything from me. Hooray, Ethan's done talking. Let's pass it off over to Ben. You recommended a game for us to play, of course, and I certainly didn't finish that shit.
I think I'm the only
tell
one
us about tell us about Going Under.
Yeah, so Going Under, as the name implies, it's a roguelike about tech startups that are going under because they're being bought by a parent company. At least that's what I got with the limited amount of playtime that I put into it, because I didn't finish it either. I will say that the concept is interesting, and that's what led me to recommend it, is the fact that, it's this game where you play as one of these characters of, like, that overly used, like, corporate art style. Like, the overly, like, they're just, like, super round and, like, really colorful and, like, nondescript.
Yeah, they're
really
like,
colorful.
Yeah, that's the thing, that, like, they're, like, racially and kind of genderly ambiguous in ways, it's that sort of
all look like those
all-inclusive kind of corporate,
They look like those blow-up noodle people from, like, car dealerships.
The natural evolution.
Yeah,
I will say that the character portraits during dialogue I found charm
yeah,
in
the character
those.
portraits
I
are
like
sick.
those.
They're great.
I like those, yeah.
If the whole game
Well,
looked like that, then that would be sick.
Well, here's the thing. I'm saying you to the art style, but I think I can speak for hopefully somebody else here in saying that I think that in terms of where Going Under is heading narratively speaking, in terms of what it's commentating on and its socio-political themes, matching it with that art style, I think is a really kind of like cute, creative thing, and I feel overall that it kind of lends to the visual style of the game, and I think it kind of makes it a little better in that way, because the visuals and the story are, you know, they're combined together, they're one and the same, and they kind of like coexist and work together in some really neat ways in the game. It's just a shame it's roguelike.
and not like that strong of one either, in my opinion, because I haven't really played that many roguelikes. I've never finished a roguelike, but like I've played a couple. I've played Dead Cells, and I've played Hades. Both Dead Cells and Hades were roguelikes that I would like to finish one day, because both their art styles, their music, and their just overall like combat style and gameplay is so like strong to the point of like, I don't play roguelikes, but I would play those two. I have tried Binding of Isaac, and I didn't really get grabbed by it, so sorry. But I saw Going Under, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And my first thought when we started up the game is, why is this walk cycle so freaking wonky?
Yeah,
I love the gremlin-y animations.
The what?
I said I love the gremlin-y animations.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, at first I was like really put off by it though, because I got in and it felt like really like
It felt like Fall
weird to
Guys
control.
physics. Yeah, it felt like Fall Guys physics,
Yeah.
but for what's it called?
A
Oh
roguelike.
God, I would
A dungeon
hate it if
crawler?
it actually felt like Fall Guys.
Yeah, no. It made me think of it. It wasn't exactly like Fall Guys, but man, it was like on the border of me calling it Fall Guys physics.
Yeah, because like usually when I go into a roguelike, the roguelikes that I've played have very precise and smooth inputs, to where the combat feels really like natural and fluid. Going Under is like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Fluid.
No,
It's going
not
under.
necessarily.
Clunky.
It's like purposely clunky to
Yeah.
the point where like it works for what it is, but I just didn't enjoy it all that much, because like when I first went into the first dungeon, I was like, this movement's gonna like really screw me up. I'm not used to this at all. But then I
felt
discovered that
delayed.
like the enemies also move similarly slow, and they also are like similarly pretty janky, and so I was like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with this. So it works for what it is, but I personally was just like kind of like annoyed by it.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't like the movement.
Quick question before we get too far into this. How far did everyone get? Like, what was the last thing you remember doing?
I played an hour and a half, and I didn't beat a single dungeon.
Okay.
I beat the first dungeon, and I got almost to the boss of the second.
Okay.
And then yeah.
And then Ethan?
But
I
I-
saw
I-
the boss of the second dungeon.
Okay.
But I did do some grinding, so because I wanted to like get better weapons and stuff, because you can do that in other roguelikes.
Yes. How
So-
how many hours did everyone spend on the game?
Not that many.
At about 90 minutes.
Yeah,
So hour and a half,
90
hour and a
minutes.
half, and how long for Ben?
Let me look it up real quick. I think I had maybe a couple hours. Where did I put it? Where is it? There it is. Yeah, about 80 minutes.
Oh my goodness. You add up all your hours together, and I still have more than that. That's disgusting. Why did I play so much of this stupid game? Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, I had 8.9. I had 9 hours.
Wow, not
Jesus
bad.
Christ.
Jesus Christ, Jason Bourne. Yeah, okay. So I guess I'll let you guys go first, and I'll go last because I know what happens afterwards. But yeah, explain what you guys got up to and how far you got, I guess.
Most of my time spending like playing the game was just talking to the other NPCs.
Dude, that's the best part. That was like the best part of the
foyer.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that is the best part. Although I will say that the hub world is so bright. It's hard to look at.
It's painful. It's a painful, yeah.
Yeah.
I like talking to the people, looking at the character portraits and their facial expressions. That was fun, but probably the highlight of the game right there. But yeah, geez, the aesthetics were more pleasant to look at in the dungeon. It was a lot simpler, but I don't know. The color schemes weren't as just vomit-inducing.
Yeah, everything was like neon coloring. It felt like just yeah.
Yeah. So I like whenever I try to do a dungeon thing, I didn't do that great, but I didn't feel much incentive to really try any harder. I think that's probably the biggest problem with this game is that it kind of lacks a hook. It lacks something that like really grabs you, in my opinion. So I never really felt an incentive to really like try my best in a dungeon or whatever. So I just kind of found myself just talking to the NPCs until I got bored and stopped. And that's pretty much my experience.
Fair. I think that was my issue near the end of the game because it was okay at the beginning, but yeah, near the end of the game it gets really hard to find a reason to keep going. So I can see how you found that pretty early on because it's bad. Yeah. Did you guys play with controller or with keyboard, or what did you play with?
Controller, personally.
Controller.
Okay, because I think I'm the only idiot. I'll say idiot. I'm the only idiot that played with keyboard and mouse. And God, if you thought it was clunky with the controller, it was so much worse with the keyboard.
Oh my!
Because throwing items. You had to aim your character with your directional input, so that was annoying. I basically never threw an item because you had to like use the keyboard to aim. I couldn't use the mouse, which was dumb.
Granted, I only threw items a handful of times. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even I didn't use the throwing mechanic that much.
It becomes necessary like near the end of the game, honestly. It's kind of annoying.
Really?
Yeah, some characters you have to stun to get close to them. And it's like, this is so dumb. But yeah.
Yeah, I think overall from what I experienced with it, it's a well done, like it's a well put together game. It doesn't really seem like it's falling apart like some other games that I've like kind of picked up on a whim. Mm-hmm. Like it definitely knows its aesthetic and it definitely knows what it wants to be. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the roguelike aspect of it is one step where they probably fell off a little bit. Because I think like the theme and stuff that they were going for could have definitely been accomplished in a different way. Maybe like a side scroller platformer, a Metroidvania even. Something like that, something kind of simple. 3D platformer.
Yeah.
And you still could have got like that same like delivery of like the concept. A roguelike kind of, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really feel like it works that well.
Yeah. The one thing I'll give them credit for, I remember when I said to you guys I was going to turn on all the assist options. I do like that because I'm going to read from my screenshot I gave you. It says assist options. Going Under is meant to be a difficult game, but we also understand that every player is unique. If you feel that our game is inaccessible due to its difficulty, we hope that these options will allow you to enjoy it. And they can, you can customize exactly what you want and don't want, which I really did enjoy. And that was the best part of the game. The fact that you can make it easier if you don't want to make it freaking annoying to play. Which by the end of the game it gets really annoying to play, but yeah, I think you hit it on you hit the nail on the head there, Ben. The story, because when you get to the end of the story is good. I like the message they sell. The character development honestly does really good by the end of everything, and you really get to know the characters. And I did really enjoy the story it gave me. But God, it did not need to be the Dark Souls of this. That's what it felt like they were trying to be. Like, yes, we're going to make this hard on purpose because Going Under is hard. And that's the story we're telling. It's like, no. You need to tell the story a different way. And it would have done so much better. So
I felt like thematically it didn't really demand to be difficult anyway.
Exactly. It didn't need to be difficult to tell the story. They had a better point to make than through the gameplay. So
because, I mean, even though, like, when you were comparing it to Dark Souls, the reason why Dark Souls is at the difficulty level that it is because of the world that it's placed in. Mm-hmm. Everything is hopeless. You're fighting you're an undead, like you're a zombie potato, person, running around with a needle trying to kill literal gods and stuff like that. And giant dragons and creatures. There's an element of overcoming the impossible when it comes to Dark Souls and its world. But with Going Under, it's talking about
but in the business world. If you think about it, that's kind of okay. I'll explain. By the end of the game, right, they're literally talking that all these other companies went under because the cubicle thing bought them out, and that these relics you find at the end of each dungeon, are like the pure essence of what it means to be this company or whatever, and how you progress or whatever. And the way that they told the story literally made me think by the end of it, this was them trying to be the Dark Souls of the roguelike genre, and that's kind of it felt like that's what they were going for, because it's that same everything you just described is kind of exactly how they portrayed the game by the end of it, like word for word is kind of how it went out to be. And it was like, okay, well, but by the end of it also had the happy, hopeful thing of like, oh wow, we're all gonna band together to destroy Cubicle, and we're all gonna work together. And I was like, wow, it's like the magic of friendship. Now I'm in My Little Pony. Wow. But
so I went from hopeless atmosphere killing gods to My Little Pony.
Yeah, pretty much is what it felt like.
Yeah. Which happens in My Little Pony.
Exactly, it does. It actually does. That's a good show. I love My Little Pony, dude. It's a good show. I need more shows that are happy like that in my life.
We all just need more happy stuff.
We do. We really do. But
yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for.
Though I am kind of a sucker for dark stuff. I mean, given my penchant for FromSoft's games.
Yes.
But also Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank's like the antithesis to that.
Exactly. Good balance, right? A balance of everything.
Yeah, it's good balance. I got my oppressive, dark, and foreboding FromSoft games like Souls and Bloodborne and whatnot. And then I've got my my super colorful and really character-driven, shooter. Mm-hmm. So,
Ethan, since you just got back from your thing, what did you think about Going Under? At least with how far you got. So,
yeah, I thought it was kind of cute for what it was. Certainly interesting artistically speaking. I kind of already spoke on that. I guess the only real thing I'd have to truly reflect on, I guess, is its gameplay structure, and it's just not the kind of game for me. Like Ben said, he is not very much a fan of roguelikes. I'm in that very same camp, though I have finished a roguelike. I finished Void Bastards, which is a really great roguelike first-person shooter game. And that's because it's a good FPS on top of it all with a really cool art style. And so I finished that one, but I never I played Hades and some Binding of Isaac, but I've never really I got somewhere in Hades, but after a while I'm like, man, I'm done. I'm playing the same shit over and over again. I'm good, thanks, dude. I don't know, it's just that's the thing with roguelikes for me, is I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again with very menial progression. I want to feel like I'm getting somewhere, and I hate having to start from square one every 30 minutes or something that. It's oh my god, can I just finish the game, dude? If your game's an hour long, I don't care as long as it's good, but I feel roguelikes are just not my speed. I get the appeal of them. I love watching people play some of them. My little brother is just obsessed with the Binding of Isaac. And I love to watch him play that game. But I sure as hell don't want to play it. And that's just how I feel about Going Under. I appreciate it for what it is, and I understand why it has its audience, and I would never want to take that away from people, because I think this is a really great piece of art. It's just not for me.
Yeah, in terms of art, it does hit the mark, and it does tell the story I think it needs to be told. But as a game, it's kind of not good.
It needs
polish. Yeah. The main thing was the mechanics with the movement. I feel like movement and attacking was just sloppy the whole way through. And yeah,
I definitely stand by earlier I said that it would have done better as probably a platformer or something like that.
Or anything else. I would have loved this as a visual novel. Dude, this is a visual novel to get to know the characters
Yeah.
better.
Oh.
Dude, I would have
Yeah,
loved
that would actually work really well.
Why was it not?
Like, that would have been sick. I would have loved it as a visual novel, but yeah.
Yeah, but not just the character portraits, but like the promotional art, the poster of the game also looks also looks stylistic. Like whoever did the art for that is talented. So yeah, why not make it like a visual novel in that style? That probably would have been
cool.
a lot more effective.
Exactly. So okay.
But now it's gotta be a roguelike because they're trendy.
So do you guys want to find out on what you missed and spoilers for like the last middle part to the end of the game?
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
Sure,
Spoil it.
So, after you beat the first boss at the Jobland Incorporated, you go to Styxcoin. So basically, going about crypto and whatnot. I think Ethan said he got there and he met the final boss. Final boss is like this stupid, like teenage but gigantic skeleton guy. I forget his name, but he's like, yeah, whoa, crypto is gonna be the next thing, and you gotta like believe in it, man, buy into it or whatever. It's like, cool, whatever.
Oh no, he's a pump and dumper.
They did bring up a lot of. I wish I took screenshots of some of my favorite lines of dialogue, because there was a lot of really good lines of dialogue where they really start to break into, like how these people kind of approach things and kind of the stereotypes behind a lot of the ideology behind these apps, or behind the for the crypto guy, the kind of people that they are. They really do break into that a lot, and they rip them apart, and I really like that. But I wish I need to find the dialogue, but. Basically, you defeat that guy, and then you go over to what was it called? It's a dating site based off of Tinder. Crap!
Smolder.
That's awesome.
What was it?
Smolder?
No, not Smolder, but yeah, it's something. It's like a devil succubus type of thing that they go for it. I don't remember the name of it now for some reason, but you go in there. The character designs in that one are kind of interesting because I saw myself in it. There was a weeb holding a body pillow that you have to fight. It's great. I love it. As well as succubuses that teleport around, giant guys that do complete area of effect attacks to destroy like the entire room sometimes. So that's great. You can't dodge the attack because it takes up the entire room. Really dumb.
Oh.
And then et cetera, et cetera. So you fight through that, and then by the end of that one, you get this final boss. That's like, what do they call him? The Hands of Narcissism or something like that. I don't remember. It's something with narcissism in the name. But it's like one of the basic slime creatures you fight in there, but he has a mask in front of him that covers up a huge portion of the screen. And then two big hands that touch you. It's a bit disturbing, to say the least. But yeah, that's the final boss in that room. And to put into perspective, right, so you go through all three dungeons, and you get all the final artifacts at each one. And then it opens up, like Marv is like, yes, I finally have all the artifacts. Oh, he's like, oh, sorry, actually, we have we can be super productive or whatever, right? He like tries to play it off and tells you not to go into the final little dungeon there. So it's like, oh, cool, it's the final boss. I'll be done with it. Cool, I get to fight Marv. You go in there. He's trying to open up a portal to like another dimension to make Fizzle or whatever it is, like the new cubicle. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? This makes no sense. Why are you making a portal? Like, it makes no sense. And so you have to fight Marv. And he has this cool anime sword for some unknown reason. This is where I started having problems with the game, because they called it the shared workplace or something like that. Is that area, that dungeon that you go into? It's a 12-floor dungeon, 12 floors, between all of the different creatures you fight from the other three dungeons combined, randomized, and you only get one store, if I remember correctly, and 2 skill places. So it's freaking hard. Wow. I don't know why it just jumps in difficulty. Like the other 3 dungeons got progressively harder, but that last one was just so annoyingly hard for no reason. I don't know how, but I beat it without any of the assists on that one. But you get through, you beat Marv. He's like, kid, you've made a big mistake. You brought us under or whatever, right? And so then he leaves, you leave out of it. And then you find out that Cubicle took out their funding of Fizzle or whatever this store was called. And you've gone under. So now you've become one of the dungeons, technically. And all your friends have turned into fish people. For some reason, they're fish people of all things, but now they're fish people. And from there on, the way to end the game is to go back through every single dungeon. But the story is that the only way to fix this is to get the funding back from Cubicle. And so Ray, or whatever the main manager guy's name is, he's like, well, the only way to get Cubicle to talk to you would be to get the sharehold, like a big sharehold of their stock. And so you're tasked with going back to every single dungeon, with each dungeon being twice as hard, literally what they say, twice as hard as before. And then beating the boss again and getting their share of the stock. And at this point, I was like, I am turning on the assists. This is dumb, because I walked into the Joblin core thing, right? And it's not like you get any extra bonuses to health or anything by this point. You have no way to have anything better than how you first started the game. And yet you are tasked with going through each of these dungeons with each enemy having twice as much health, dealing twice as much damage, and having, like, I think 1.2 times better movement speed. So they just move around faster, attack faster, everything. So you are just getting pummeled, and there's no way around it. And then this is the other reason I don't like roguelikes very much, and I don't really plan on playing very many more, just because I hate the random aspect to it. I walked into the Joblin core. He's like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I got met with 3 of the tank guys that have the like swingy dollies or whatever, right? And one of the Rockstar guys right behind them that boosts up their attack and their health. In the first room that I got into, when I had no skills, no weapons, and nothing to, like, my name. And so obviously I got pummeled. And it's like, what's the point? I have to just hope and pray to God that I don't get an awful room to start, that I can actually find decent skills, and that I don't get screwed over halfway through because of an awful RNG of a room. So, and I was like, I'm putting on all the assists at this point. I tried grinding on my own, hence why I have 9 hours. I tried grinding and I boosted up all the mentors because I unlocked all the mentors. I got them all to level 3. I didn't get level 4 on all of them, but I got them all up to level 3. And they give you some pretty cool perks, because I think Ray's, he gives you a business card where you can buy whatever you want at the store, but you have to carry around debt with you, which is kind of cool. But he also gives you an extra skill room per level in the dungeon, which is very nice. And then his third ability was, I think you get, like, discounts on stuff or something like that as well. So it's like, oh, sweet, I can just go to the stores and buy whatever I want. Some of them let you use, like, double the amount of apps, or hold an extra app or whatever on your person. And there's a few other cool skills depending on which mentor you had. But yeah, so you basically go through the whole thing again. You get all the shareholds from everybody, and then you go talk to Ray. He's like, here's the last sharehold. Go upstairs and go talk to Cubicle. Good luck, whatever, right? So you go up there, you say goodbye to all your friends. And then when you get up there, you start to slowly meet. This is the only part of the game that I actually enjoyed by this point, because I turn on all the assists. You meet all the people from, like, the store owners at each of the different dungeons you go to, because they each have a special store owner. Goodness. And so you meet each of them back up at the top of the Cubicle place, and they each help you out. So they give you a bunch of the people that you were fighting at before, and now they're like, yeah, I think now with our power combined and friendship, we can defeat Cubicle. And so combining all the 4 stores' power, you go running through, defeating machine after machine at Cubicle, which is kind of epic. I'll give them that. It was pretty epic. And then you keep pushing through, and then you get to the room right before the final boss, and you meet Marv again. But Marv has no shirt this time, and he has a cool gigantic anime-esque style sword, but it's a what's it called? The little knives that are oh my goodness, what is it called? The box cutter. He has a box cutter. He has a gigantic box cutter that's an anime sword. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. I like that. So you fight him again, but again, he's twice as fast, twice as strong, twice as much health. It sucks. But you fight him with assists on, and every assist on, I left that room with 1 health. And I had 11 hearts in that fight. That was the hardest fight of my entire life, because the game was just janky. His attacks were so fast you had no time to recover. And it was just, oh my goodness, that was stupidly hard for no reason. Anyway, you defeat Marv, you go into Cubicle, and then Avi's sitting there, the little cube that you meet. And Avi's like, all right, human, prepare yourself, because I have become the ultimate AI, because I was tasked with finding out what people want, and so I delivered what people wanted. And eventually I found out they didn't want things. And so I grabbed the whole board of directors, took over their souls to be able to link myself to every human soul so that I can give them exactly what they want. And so that basically AI took over, and it's prepare human for battle, and you throw a rock at it and it dies, and you're like, okay. And then the whole building starts collapsing. The thing just destroys. Your friends come up there and they're like, hey, Jackie, we're here to help you. And then I have no idea what's going on at this point because everything's been destroyed. AV has disappeared, but I have a health bar and I cannot attack it. It's spawning random varieties of even stronger enemies from all the dungeons as well, and Titan versions of them that have triple the health and things like that. And I'm just dodging, trying to survive, using my cool box cutter knife and whatever, right, that I stole from Marv's dead body, and whatever I can. And then it's like, in between all of this, they're trying to talk to you and tell you like what to do, right? And then I forget the girl's name that does all the apps, but she throws you the app and it's like, here, connect to the network and go fight AV in the network. So then I grab the app, I activate it, go in the network. It takes away all your weapons. You're in this cloud space, and you see this gigantic thing in front of you, and it doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't tell you how to fight it. It doesn't tell you like anything. There's no notion of what its attacks do. It doesn't even attack you until you get close, so you don't even know what it does. So you get close, you have to assume and guess what the attack is. You kind of dodge it or whatever, and then you start punching the crap out of AV until it just boots you out of it. You do that 3 times. And each time that you get booted out, there's more enemies on the field. There's more attacks. It's harder to figure out what's going on. And then once that's all over and done with, you beat AV, it just fades to white. And all you see is everyone back on the floor. And that screenshot I sent you guys of where I was like, yeah, screw capitalism. Yeah, that's the game.
Wow.
So it really does build up.
That escalates real quick.
Exactly, yeah. But it's just...
Yeah.
The amount it takes to get there and the difficulty curve of it is just pointless, I feel like, for what they were trying to say, So, but I did like the twists and the turns, and you could kind of see Marv coming along. You kind of figured it all out before then, but but yeah, and I forgot to mention, when you are about to get to that final room to go defeat the boss, or before you even do that, right? When you go back to the Winky Dink, that's what they called it. That's the app, Winky Dink. When you go back to Winky Dink, the Tinder app, you find like a dark version of yourself. And I was like, oh no, what is this? So I followed her around, defeated her in Winky Dink, and she's like, all right, when you're up for a real challenge, come visit me. And then it's like, oh, you can now visit your dark self in the other dimension at your house. And so I visited my house, and she's in the mirror. And apparently, I tried it. It's a boss rush, basically, multi-level dungeon boss rush. So you enter in, all your stats get reset because you do get a few health bonuses as you play the game, but you get set back to 3 hearts, and all the enemies are basically 5 times stronger. It's great. And then you have to go through every single dungeon in one go at their highest difficulty, fight every boss again, and then you get to fight her at the end of it. For what? I have no idea, but there's an extra challenge if you wanted to take that challenge. And I don't know. I was just...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an insanely elaborate end game, like way more than I would have expected for a game like this.
That's what I thought. I know, the more and more I got near the end, I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. What are they planning on doing? I will admit, some of my favorite points are when you do buy some of the... Because as you progress through the game, you get the chance to buy more abilities that you can find in the dungeons, right? And you can also endorse once you use an ability enough. So basically, you get to start off with a mentor ability, and you get to start off with an ability of your choosing, which is very nice. Some of these are like second stance, you get to live again. Some of them give you like extra health or extra damage output. Some of them let you move faster. So you get to start off with one of those if you find it in the dungeon and use it long enough, which is kind of the part of it. But yeah, There's some funny combinations. There's some runs that I had where it was like, man, this is a fun run. Why can't every run be like this? Oh, right, because RNG is a thing. And RNG says that today I don't get to have fun, but tomorrow I do get to have fun or whatever, right? And I think that's my problem with the game. Just there was some runs that were awful, and you just had to reset off the bat. But yeah, my throat hurts. I've been speaking a lot. Someone say something.
Yeah, you have. You were popping off there.
I mean, there was a lot to say. I mean, the story does build, and it does get pretty epic, but that last fight was just Charlie Foxtrot everywhere. I didn't know what the heck was going on, and then it was so hard. It's just pointlessly hard, but yeah.
Well, I don't really want to continue the game. I will say that your spiel just now definitely made my respect for it go up a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I it could have easily coasted along by it's just like the same 3 dungeons or whatever that you replay multiple times.
Yeah.
And people people might have not thought very fondly of that, but I don't know, it's still like a roguelike, so it probably still would have had its fans, but no, they went the extra mile, and they actually cultivated a pretty interesting finale, so I respect the developers for that, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll respect it, but at the same time, hearing that boss rush is just like, that's a little too much.
Saying the guy
kind of just trying a little too hard right there, but
in Hollow Knight.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the Pantheon, but even the
but the Pantheon's fair.
Full boss rush. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The thing about the full boss rush in Hollow Knight is you get, all your full upgrades.
Yeah, this one's randomized whether you're gonna get the good stuff or not.
Plus, Hollow Knight is just a gorgeous game that I like looking at.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's that element as well.
But yeah, I honestly, the best part about that going under was the character interaction. Like, the best part about finishing or dying in a dungeon was getting to talk to the people again, because it would refresh dialogue whenever you did that. And then when you unlocked the mentor stuff, because the more levels you went into their mentor stuff, the more you got to know them deeply. So by the time I got to level 3, you really got to understand like Tappy and Swamp and all the other characters. Eclair's the best girl. I love her. She's the best little wiener dog I've ever seen in any game ever. She's great. Eclair. That's a good name for a wiener dog too.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. My favorite part of it, for what I've played, was the character interactions as well, and the dialogue and the storytelling.
Yeah.
The gameplay didn't bring me in, but the dialogue and the characters were definitely intriguing.
Yeah, damn it! This would have made an awesome comic book.
It really would have. Yeah, anything besides whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So honestly, like if I were to give it like a score review type of thing, it gets a 0 out of 5. If I were to divide it in half, right, like 5 points being gameplay, 5 points being story, characters, etc., right? It gets full marks on like how it looks and everything like that, and like the stylistic art and everything, and how people interacted and character development. It gets full marks, 100%. It's great. I love it. It was really well done. But God, does it get a 0 out of 5 for the gameplay? I hated the gameplay the whole way through. It just got so frustrating. So, solid 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 game for me.
Yeah, right down.
It definitely makes me not want to play any more roguelikes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I definitely didn't play enough of it where I'd be able to rate up.
There you go. I've had my fill of roguelikes.
It made me want to play the roguelikes that I was more into.
There you go. Hey, there you go. That's something.
Yeah, I think at some point I'm going to go back into Hades. Dead Cells, maybe, but Hades I do want to complete. So
I'll say actually, it makes me want to play a good roguelike.
And Hades, I would say Hades is one.
I don't know if I like the aesthetic. I would
agree to that
enough to be into it.
And the characters are great too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of like the best parts of Hades. I mean, the gameplay is great, but also it's just like the story and the characters as well, just like Going Under, are fantastic. So, and the art's really cool.
You know what's funny? Just side note, the exact amount of time that I was silent at the beginning, I made up for with that whole spiel. So I think I've done my part now.
Nice. It's your contribution.
Well, I guess if we're done speaking about going under, I can switch to a brief little topic. I totally forgot about one of the games that I finished this past week, and it really goes to show how memorable it was. But I got the platinum trophy in Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And I totally forgot to mention.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, God, it's so generic and bland. It's the most milquetoast video game that you could play, structurally speaking. I mean, dear God, man, this is like 360 shit, like that we just still can't get past these annoying, bloated checklist open world video games, and people still love them. Good for them, but dear God, they suck. But I do have my praises for this game. I think the gameplay's great. I think the combat is awesome. Good combat system. Ghost of Tsushima feels really good in the combat department. I haven't played much like it. But on top of that, like, visually speaking, it looks great. I was playing it on the PS5, which basically is just the PlayStation 4 Pro version, running at a steady, smooth 60 frames per second. I never noticed any dips. It has a few open world little bugs, like I was clipping into things, and I had some like funny little things I uploaded to Twitter of bugs, but I mean, it's an open world game. They bound to have these little bugs like this. That's not a problem. That take it or leave it. But structurally speaking, I just can't stand these generic ass games, and I've moved on. Open world video games may just not be the thing for me anymore, and I'm more than okay with that. I like a focused structural narrative. I guess the closest thing I can go to a quote-unquote open world video game, or a checklist game as I like to call them, would be like a Western RPG like Fallout or The Witcher or something like that. Whereas like, yeah, it's technically open world, but it's like really story heavy, and
it's still focused,
something like that. Yeah, it's not like Far Cry where it's just like kind of more sandboxy, which I've enjoyed my Far Cry in the past, but I've found it increasingly harder to go back to most of those Far Cry games, except for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, because that game's like 6 hours long. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's tighter, it's more focused, and that's the thing. I just like leaner experiences. And yeah, I'm glad for those people who really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, but yeah, it's not for me. It's 6 out of 10, I'd say, for me, or 3 stars. Very generic. If I had to participate in the culture war, because there was a culture war last year over this and The Last of Us Part 2, because all the gamer bros were saying Ghost of Tsushima is so much better than Last of Us Part 2, man. If I'm to throw my hat into the Chud ring, I guess I would technically agree with them, but it would be very much splitting hairs. I think they're both equally generic, bland, very milquetoast experiences, but I think Ghost of Tsushima wins out in a more fun combat system. And like, that's it. So there you go. I have the epic gamer opinion, and I think both games suck. No, no, I just think both of them are just generic video games. Cool, whatever. I'm gonna go play Silent Hill or some shit like that. Like, engage my brain. But yeah. Anyway. That's enough from me. That's all my shit. Sorry, I totally forgot Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm glad that was entertaining to some of you.
You good.
Yeah, I guess this leads us to the end of the show, I suppose. Which means it's Andrew's turn to recommend a game. I've been very much anticipating a recommendation from Andrew. Ooh, lay it on me,
Jeez,
man. What you got?
That's a lot of
It's a
pressure.
retro one, yeah.
Well, damn it. There's a game I really want to recommend that I think all of us will love, but I don't know if it's feasible. Maybe we can fill it out and test it and see if it'll work. And if it doesn't work, I do have a backup in mind.
Okay.
My first choice is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. That's what I want to play.
Ooh.
However, I think the only way we're going to be able to play that is through the Dolphin emulator and a ROM.
No, everyone is getting a totally legitimate physical copy off of eBay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Over $200.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
And everything.
Yeah.
What's Dolphin? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even.
Now these physical copies that we're definitely going to be getting. I did some research, and I guess that this is one of those games that it does have a bit more bugs than your average physical copy. So I'm worried that it might not work properly, but we can at least try it. I want to at least try and see if we can get that working and see if we can all play it.
Okay, I'm down.
Just to say, I already have my totally legitimate physical copy backed up on Dolphin. I just need to get a controller up and running with it.
Why do you have a physical
and
copy
I'm good to
inside of a
start.
Dolphin? That's kind of gross, man.
Yeah.
They're into it. No. Would you mind saying your second pick, just in case we run into
here's my backup choice. Ben has mentioned in the past that he would have liked to talk about a game that he doesn't like. And I've never played this game, neither has Ethan, but you guys have played it. Ben and Elias. The first Sly Cooper.
I have not played the first one. I played 2 and 3.
Oh, you haven't?
I played 2 and 3, not 1.
Okay. Ben said that he doesn't like it that much.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if we'll echo his thoughts or if we'll think it's better than him.
I'm gonna check my.
Well, I'm gonna play it again and see if I still think the same thing, because when I played it originally, I thought it was pretty bad, but we'll see.
Yeah, taste changed. Right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if you still think that.
Yeah.
So that's the backup if Thousand Year Door doesn't work out.
I've been meaning to get the Sly collection for PlayStation 3, and just trying to.
I have it on disc.
Get a copy of that now. Yeah. That's how I'm going to want to play it, because I have so many of these other PlayStation 3 collections. I have the Jak and Daxter one, I have the Eco Shadow of the Colossus one, I've got the Ratchet and Clank one. It's like I might as well just get the Sly one. I have the Killzone one. That's how I played all those Killzone games. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Interesting recommendations. I do not foresee it being a problem to get Paper Mario running. It should be fine.
How long should we have to beat it?
That should be a 4-weeker. It's a longer game. It's not horribly long, but it's longer. Like it'd probably take at least 20 hours.
I am how long to beating it right now? Let's see.
Yeah.
30 and a half hours for the main story.
8.5?
30 and a half?
30 and a half.
Oh.
So that's about similar to Nier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For like the main story, base main story, yeah.
And if I remember really loving it. It's been like almost a decade since I played it. So if it's anything like how it sticks in my memory, it should be just a breeze to get through. So yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to get through.
We'll see if I stick through it, because I've never had a Mario game stick for me. Never. So we'll see.
I think this might be the one.
We'll see.
This is an RPG,
Elias, if you do not like this game and you talk about how you don't like it, I think you'll be the first person in human history to record your distaste for this game.
Okay. I will meet the challenge then. Okay,
I'm excited. Yeah. I've been wanting to get to this at some point.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot. Yeah. I'm excited for this recommendation. So
All right.
This is it. If we could also do
be
both.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll try to do both.
I'm gonna
honestly.
try.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean that's a lot.
I'm playing Replicant
yeah.
like right now. It's taking up a lot of time already. Plus the drifting stuff. Like that's fitting Paper Mario is gonna be hard for me. So.
We'll see. All right.
But yeah.
So is that it?
Alrighty, well, yeah, I guess
Time
that
to
is.
plug it in.
It's plug it in, boy. I got my link tree in the description. You can see my Letterboxd and my Twitter and my Instagram and all of that garbage, including CBR articles that I just have not written in God knows how long. So on and so forth. That's basically it for me, though you can follow the podcast itself on Twitter, and we have that Steam curator page that I keep saying I need to update, and I think this may be like the 5th or 6th time saying I need to update that, and I still haven't done it, and I probably still won't. Anyway, someone else, plug your stuff.
I also have a link tree. You can find me on Twitter, on why did I say LinkedIn? Letterboxd.
Find me on Twitter on LinkedIn.
You cannot find me on LinkedIn.
Yo, dude, follow me on LinkedIn, bro. Can I put you as a reference?
Yeah, no, not LinkedIn. Don't look for me there. You won't find anything. Letterboxd, that's what I meant to say. And Backlogged. I haven't posted anything on Letterboxd in a while, but Backlogged, I've got some fresh stuff, and I shitpost occasionally on Twitter, so there you go.
Yo, yeah, I got some fresh stuff on Backlogged as well, and I'm about ready to start jumping back into movies again, because I've been anticipating going back to the movie theater, and I think that's going to theater pill me again, so about ready to get
based
back
in
the
theater
movie
pill
zone. Yeah, baby, let's go!
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Buy my book, My Daddy Runs. I'd appreciate that.
Wait, your daddy has the runs?
Yep, yeah, sure. My daddy's got the runs.
sorry.
Sure, yeah, that's the name of the book. And look at me on artstation.com. I kind of want to start doing more fan art because I've been writing more lately, so I've been drawing less. So I might, I don't know, make some fan art, and that would actually justify me putting on ArtStation. So maybe I'll post something here soon. Yeah, I don't know.
I will see if I can commission you to draw me Big Boss or something like that.
Cool.
As a Metal Gear character.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like just Big Boss, like a portrait.
I guess.
No, him
Cool.
with his...
I don't know. Let you flex them creative muscles. Get that fan art. I want you to draw the BB pod from Death Stranding. A little baby in the jar.
Sure. And it's Stewie Griffin inside. No, yeah.
What's Stu doing?
I can do
all right. Elias.
And then I don't have any social media, as I remember I was editing one of the podcasts and I made fun of the audience for not being able to follow me because I don't do social media. So again, suck it. But if you want to commission me for for any kind of, I just realized I can do this. If you want to commission me for background music, video game music, movie score, anything, any music, any kind, any genre, anything, you can hire me. Just email me. I'll give you the link to my email, or I think you have my email. Just Ethan. Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
Just send me an email. I've done a few different things. You can see what I do on SoundCloud under EFA. I actually have a improvisation album for piano stuff kind of in the works. Hopefully that'll be done soon. It'll be like an hour and a half of improv piano stuff, so that might be fun to listen to. But yeah, hopefully that'll be my first thing on Spotify, and then I can actually plug a Spotify. So, but we'll see. Anyway, that's my stuff.
Alrighty, well then we'll see everybody next time when we probably do an off-topic little episode, and then bask in the glory of Paper Mario after that. But bye, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.